Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome you in this video where I'm gonna talk about some basic concepts of Vastu. It's the first video in the series, short videos where I talk about them. And let's concentrate in this video on talking about energy levels that are used in Vastu. First of all, a bit more about what the word Vastu itself means. In English, we don't differentiate between short and long vowels, and therefore we use the same word for talking about two different things. One of them is Vastu with a short first vowel, and it means the essence of any object, thing, or living creature. And in this particular case, it means that Vastu means energy. Yet, if we take Vastu with a long first vowel, it is about embodied energy, about energy having a particular material form. And most often this term Vastu means a building. And this is exactly what we are talking about when we are dealing with Vastu Shastra, meaning the science of Vastu. Okay, and what are the levels, energy levels that Vastu describes to us? For you to get a better understanding, I would like to start with a seemingly irrelevant topic. But while I'm talking about it, you'll understand why I believe talking about this might make sense. In one of the most important philosophy schools of India, which is called Vedanta, there is an understanding of pancha koshas, or 5 layers within the human body. And so these 5 layers describe how we function as humans. And first of them, which is called Annamaya Kosha, it is the one that we usually take as our body when we talk about it in English. And that would be this physical body, which is made of muscles, bones, skins, and different sort of organs. But then this tradition talks about 4 other bodies, starting from the one that deals with life force or energy, that is Pranamaya Kosha. And if you ever practiced yoga, then while doing your pranayama exercises, you were actually dealing with this layer of your bodies. Then it's going to be Manamaya Kosha, where our mind or mental part is situated, and that's where we can find our thoughts and emotion. Then there's going to be Vijnanamaya Kosha and Anandamaya Kosha. We're not going to talk too much about that. The only thing I would like to attract your attention to is that first, according to this philosophy tradition, more subtle sheaths appear, and only then they're being followed by more gross until energy gets manifested into its material form. And what's really important for us, the same mechanisms work for all the objects and also living beings, starting from stones and buildings and ending with animals and humans. But of course, the number of those koshas are going to be different. But when we are talking about really living a full life, the idea is that we need to have access to all of those layers, and not only inside ourselves, which we can do, for example, if we practice yoga or tai chi or qigong, but also if we have access to deep layers in Vastu. So what are those key layers or levels of space that we are talking about when we deal with Vastu? Of course, the first one is going to be like gross physical level. So it's going to be the material our house or flat is made of, the walls, the floor, tables, chairs, like everything that we can easily see with the eye. But then come more subtle layers, starting from energy level, where we're gonna talk about such things, for example, as solar energy and its movement, which is called pranic urja. And there is this next video when I'm gonna talk more about energy level and why it's so important for us. And I will talk about some other basics of Vastu that you need to know if we take this energy level. But there are also even more subtle ones. For example, the level of grahas or planets, the one that's linked with devas, and even the most subtle one that deals with elements. Of course, there's a lot of information, and we can talk about each of that level for a very long time. And so to make it easier for you to digest, I have made several courses on different levels with lots of practical exercise, so that all the information you get is not just theory, but so that you can get your direct experience. It's the same as, for example, when you practice yoga, you don't only look at the book with different postures, but you actually do them on your yoga mat. Or when you're doing pranayama, you know what is prana just because you've done those breathing exercises. So the same here. That's why if you're interested in talking and understanding more what are grahas and why the hell planets are important if we talk about houses, okay, there's a separate mini course that I've dedicated to it, and please, you can get your access to it. The same about devas. As for elements, this topic is so important that one of these little mini videos where I talk about basics of Vastu, I'm gonna dedicate to that. So please take a look and learn more about it. And to sum up these topics that we've discussed today, I want to again underline this idea of space having different levels. And therefore, if we really want to create peaceful, loving, nurturing atmosphere inside our house, it's not only about nice colors of the walls. It's about working on all of those levels, including, for example, having the elements level well balanced. And I have a mini course where I teach you how you can clean elements inside of your house to already feel some changes. But of course, the best would be if you work on all the levels and therefore really make much progress on your way to creating the life of your dream. So I hope that this was helpful, and see you in the next video of this series where we talk about basic concepts of Vastu. Have a great day.